discrimination or as a means of bullying? Here's one of my questions. To my knowledge as parents, Ava has never been reported in 5th grade to bully another child. I've never gotten that phone call. I've never had anyone sit down with me and say my child is bullied or call a racial slur or anything of that nature, ever. And it is policy that school will call parents if your child is reported to be a bully, okay? On Channel 5, this mother came out and directly lied, saying that the superintendent reduced her daughter's suspension, out-of-school suspension, from 10 days to 3 days based on racial discrimination and based on comments that were made on Facebook. Let me be clear. None of those comments came from my family or my friends on Facebook. They came from trolls, that's what we call them, internet trolls, and they came from the public that we have no association with. So one came from Nevada that we deleted. So that didn't come from us. My question would be, how is it that she can go on and falsely accuse my daughter, because she did say, Ava has been bullying my daughter for weeks. First it was months. Then she changed it to weeks. And this is the reason that my daughter, kicked her butt 2 days in a row. So that's a false accusation. I want that to be addressed with her side of the family, because obviously there's no evidence to support that. Also, I couldn't find it on your website, and I didn't know if you would tell me that, but I know that the school, the information that you develop has to be provided to school administrators, school board members, school personnel, parents, guardians, and all students. That the school board and the school has to address and tell all of us the frequency of victimization in their school, student, staff, and family observations of safety, identifications of area of school where bullying occurs, the types of bullying that was utilized, so whether that was physical, verbal, cyber, and bystander intervention or participation, which we obviously saw in the video that there were a lot of bystanders in the video. I'd like to know where that info is on your website. I went to district, I went to handbook, I went to policy. I can't find any of that information. That would be my next question. I'd like to know how many incidents you report in our schools. It's just, I would like to know that. PTA, it says student discipline policies, including school searches, bullying, blah, blah, on or before September 15, 2016. So the policies are discussed before the start of the school year. I'm asking, is that the PTA? Because it says the Parent-Teacher Advisory Committee in cooperation with local law enforcement and the school board. Is that the PTA or PTC? Is that who sits down and looks over all of these policies? I did see that it was revised in 2015, but has not been touched since 2015, the policy. So I'm kind of wondering, now we're in 2018, we have several incidences in our schools. Will that be revised? And who's revising them? Who's able to be on these committees? Can we sign up for those committees? You see,
I'll just interject. If you're talking about the handbook and the
this is law. This is law, Illinois law.
Committee, we revised the handbook last year. 2 years ago, when the laws changed, when there were a lot of changes, we revised that committee. We usually have a separate, we call it the discipline committee meeting, but that's what it addresses. And yes, it's faculty. We try to have representatives from each grade.
Okay.
Parents can participate.
Okay.
We usually do that usually in June, right before the June board meeting, and then we make any revisions for our handbook before we send it to the parents.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for answering that for me. Appreciate
So
that.
that's in the summertime?
Listen, I'm almost done, I promise. We're getting there. I did want to know, because this is Illinois law, says that the principal of each attendance center shall promptly notify and report to the local law enforcement authorities for inclusion in, we know what okay, maybe people don't, Illinois Uniform Crime Reporting. That's how people, our country gets their crime statistics. of each incident of intimidation. So when I went to Shiloh, I was told 3 times that they didn't know anything had happened at the school. We're talking about the week after the incident. And they said that Wednesday is actually when I went in and filed a battery charge against this 10-year-old. I did. I'm gonna explain to you why in this respect. In the Whiteside handbook that we all signed, because we all have to sign that, at the end of the year with our kids, we signed that disciplinary measures, notifying juvenile authorities or other law enforcement whenever the conduct involves criminal activity. Now, it does say such as illegal drugs, lookalikes, weapons, but it strictly says criminal activity. Let me explain to you that in the state of Illinois, that battery is battery is battery. If I go into Walmart tonight and I grab a woman behind her head and I pull her to the ground and I beat her face in, guess where I'm going? Orange suit, right to jail. If a 10-year-old does it, it is different because there is a juvenile system. But she gets it may be less because it's a juvenile court system, but she is still held responsible for a battery. What happened to my child was a crime. I don't care what her reasoning was, it was a crime. So that is the reason I wanted to clear that up, since everybody was like, oh my gosh, trying to put a 10-year-old in jail. No, I'm trying to get the mother to be held responsible. Instead of coming out and saying this, this, and that, I'm trying to have her come out and say, you know what, I'm sorry. Let's work together. Let's try to figure out how we can fix this. I'm sorry your daughter got beat up. Not, well, I hope it happens on Monday. I had that too. Okay, so I just wanted to make that clear. Why did the school not report to Shiloh Police Department? And nor had they on Wednesday when they finally did take the report, because I had to call the state's attorney's office to force them to take my video statement. And that is the truth. So that is a question. I'd like to know why they weren't. Now what they tell me is that we allow schools to handle it in-house. And I said, well, that's fine until it becomes assault or battery or blood or physical attacks. Okay, so that was my next question. What about also preventing or interfering with a child's attendance at school? Whoever by threat, menace, intimidation prevents any child entitled to attend a public school or interferes with any of the child's attendance at school shall be guilty of a Class A misdemeanor. Now, Ava was out of school for the entire week, and then coming into this week, she was out on Monday, okay? The other child came back to school last week. She was out, so that would have been Thursday, she came back. And promptly at 3 o'clock, and I have it, I get a video on my phone, and it was taken by the same boy that videoed the attack. And it has the little girl who attacked my daughter running up and down the school hallways, yelling, hey, I'm back at school, you're not, said her name in third person, isn't gonna be fighting today. Promise you, I have it as evidence. Now, I'm sorry, now you're putting my daughter right back into the throes when I'm trying to get her up out of the emotional, sleeping with me in bed at 10 years old, and hasn't done that since she was 4, now we're right back into it because he sends it to our phones. Doesn't send it just to our phone, sends it to hers too. Now come on, that is taunting. That's just keeping it going. You know what I'm saying? You know how hard it is to convince Ava to go back to school on Tuesday because of these problems? That's an issue. And right here it clearly states it is a Class A misdemeanor if you keep a child out of school. I would consider that keeping my child out of school. That's all I'm saying on that one. It's so weird, like no one answers, but I'm just, holy crap. You do say that there are serious behaviors in your student handbook. You do say that I want to get to the expulsion and then I will close, I promise. The expulsion is really huge to me. Discipline actions in our school. Because when this child did what she did the first day, school handled it, gave her an in-school suspension. Second day she comes out, and within 10 minutes, she's attacking my daughter in a lobby. Not only that, she gets her friends to sit there, cheer, watch it, okay? Where in here where it says serious behaviors? So I'm wondering, actually the school does have the, right, even though I know that Illinois law doesn't want you guys to do extreme measures, I understand that they don't want you to do expulsions, they want you to avoid it at all costs, and I get that, and I get the reasoning behind it. But in serious cases, and it says case-by-case basis, you are allowed to do that if, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 or 9 things that are listed that would be considered serious cases. 2 of those revolve Ava's incident. Willful, serious injury to a staff member or another student. It absolutely was willful on Friday when she came out of in-school suspension and she attacked my daughter. Premeditated, willful. She did it on purpose. Her friends were waiting for her. We have texts to prove that. The other thing, repeated threats of injury to staff members or other students. This would have happened, 10 messages my husband and I got on our cell phones on Friday night of the incident with this girl on there telling us that it was going to be 10 times worse on Monday when Ava showed up. Then she comes back, we get the next video. Okay? I'm just wondering from you guys, what is serious? What is serious? Because does my daughter have to come in? Because I'm telling you right now, people can say, I'll put her in karate and do this and have her defend herself. That's great, but my kid isn't built like that. Out of all 4 of my daughters, she isn't built